This side?
No, this is better.
Have the
No,
interpreter
that's
come
better.
to your side.
Yeah, right there is good.
Okay.
Okay. What's the defendant's name?
Oh, he is the he's supposed to move up.
Run.
He's in the move up.
Not move up, but right after the move up, you should have him. His name is.
These are move up.
I'm sorry, Judge. Interpreter, well, right after the Spanish.
That's. That's it. All right. Okay. Caslin LeBron. Now how is she going to translate what he's saying? Okay.
For a minute, you tell her we'll come back to her.
I tell her we'll be back to her.
You can't see either?
You can't.
You can't. Hey,
There we go.
Hey. You gotta open your eyes. You're gonna have to open your eyes.
So you can see.
You can't see? Can you not see? Can you not see? Can he see?
What is that?
He's not opening his eyes, Your Honor. Like he said, he can't see.
He's on Molly withdrawal.
Oh, he's on Molly
Withdrawal,
he's
withdrawal.
Molly
You
withdrawal.
might have to reset him, Judge, because he's
Okay.
He's on Molly withdrawals and he can't see and he's not functioning.
Yeah, he doesn't look very well.
No.
Okay. All right. Have her wait there a second. I want to tell her what we're going to do.
Okay.
Okay. Wait, is his eyes opening now?
Ask her, could you?
Yes, but I don't know. It's blurry. It's really blurry.
All right. We're I hate to do it, but yeah.
Can you zoom in some, Judge? Because it is kind of far back to see. Or maybe zoom in on the
Over here? You think if we
What
put
if she
him
stood in
over
front
there?
of the bench? In front of you.
Too short.
Oh.
Can you see her now?
I don't know how to zoom me in because I did notice that it was showing like the whole bench.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I'm deaf. I don't know.
stand up. You need to stand up.
I wonder if there's another camera. Like our
No,
camera?
but
No, it's not
I
like
don't
we do.
understand what's going on.
Let's try. Let's just give it a try. All right. Mr. LeBron, you're here today. He's not looking. He's got to look. All right. No, we're resetting him.
Okay.
That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to play around with it.
Come on.
So you
Yeah.
gonna stay
Go this way or the other way?
tonight and
All right.
tomorrow. You come back tomorrow.
Here, get your papers.
He can read this.
Oh, okay. So I keep her there.
There she is.
Scoot up a little bit.
Up, yep.
There we go.
And then come back there. There she go. There she is.
Okay, right there.
Right. Go back up. Go back up. Down.
Man,
Just a little bit.
I'm just touching it one
right
time.
there.
and
Right there. Right there. She can see you. Yep. Right there. Perfect.
Is that good? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, to let her know that because he's not able to take part, we're going to reset it for tomorrow, and we'll have an interpreter again tomorrow. Hopefully.
See, he's just making it up because he's withdrawing from drugs. That's all.
Okay. Well, hopefully tomorrow he'll be in a better condition, and then they'll be able to do it tomorrow.
I can't make it tomorrow.
Well, let me. What does she want to have contact with him?
No, I don't want any contact
All
with
right,
him
so-
at all. At all. If he gets out, I know he's going to harass me again.
All right. So
I know it.
do you want?
Listen to any kind of orders or anything like that. And with my kids as well. I don't want any contact.
Right, and you don't want him to come home or to be anywhere near your house.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, because I'm afraid of him.
Judge,
Okay. Well.
Judge, he
Yeah.
said if you put it on him, he can do it.
Comes in the
He
house
can
all the
talk
time.
now.
He breaks in. I can't hear. He takes advantage of my deafness. Please, I don't want him to come. Yesterday, finally, the police arrested him, and it's better. I was able to finally sleep at night.
Okay. All right. If we're gonna try and talk to him now. He's saying that he can talk. So we're gonna try it. So we'll just hang on 1 second. Oh, hold on.
I suggest that you get close to him because it's very, very hard for him to see
Oh,
the
okay.
interpreter. Interpreter's way too far away.
Could you state your name could you sign your name for the record?
It's Joan Molina.
Okay, thank you. All right, and I guess before we do, we should.
Can you raise your right hand? Solemnly swear that you will truly translate into American time and testimony.
I do it to the best of my ability. Julie Balassa, nationally certified interpreter.
Okay, Mr. LeBron, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of burglary with battery, aggravated stalking, and robbery. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there is sufficient probable cause to hold you. Now, this allegedly occurred.
Oh, really?
This allegedly occurred at your home, and so if I set a bond, you're not going to be allowed to go back to your home or have contact with your ex-wife, Joan Molina. Do you have another place to go and live other than where Joan lives?
I don't really have another house to live, but I know that we've filed for divorce, but that's up to God.
Well, what's up to me is that you're not going to be allowed to return to your home for right now. That if I set a bond in your case.
Fine, no problem.
Okay. All right. As to the burglary with the battery, I'll set bond in the amount of $5,000. The aggravated stalking will be $5,000. The robbery, $5,000. Special condition of those bonds that you not return.
But I'm gonna have to stay. I don't have that kind of money.
Well, I'll appoint a public defender for you, and they can attempt to have the judge lower the another judge lower the bond. But let me make it clear: a condition of the
I
bond.
have to ask my family.
All right.
Depend on my family.
A condition of your bond is that you're not to return to Joan Molina's house. You're not to have any contact with Joan Molina at all.
I didn't hurt anyone.
You
didn't hurt anyone.
You also cannot possess any drugs or alcohol or any guns or any weapons. Yeah. Okay. And I'll appoint a public defender and a lawyer to represent you.
Sign this paper. Judge, the victim.
Yes.
Yeah, the victim was waving.
Yeah, we're gonna explain it to her now.
Sign the paper.
Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't agree with your decision to let him get out of jail. I've been calling the police for many, many, many years. I've tried to get an injunction. Nothing worked. If you let him out of jail, he will bother me. He always bothers me. And I've called the cops too many times. I don't want him out of jail.
Okay, I understand your frustration, but we have a.
He's going to bother me.
All right.
He doesn't obey any
Okay.
laws.
I understand. You've made yourself clear. I understand your frustration, but he has a right to a bond. Okay? There's a thing called the Constitution. I can't just hold him without bond. All right. I set a high bond. He's very unlikely to make those bonds. But if he does, he's not allowed to come around to your house or to have contact with you. It's a condition of his bond. If he does, then he's violated his bond and he can. All right. She's not listening to me, so I'm done. I'm done. Then I'm done. We're done. Thank you. You're not listening. You're not interested in hearing it, so we're done. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now I got to reorder. Okay, so I go this way. Yeah, that way. Or maybe it was her. I don't know. Oh, I went too far. Like when you touch it one little bit, sometimes it goes a lot, and then sometimes it goes. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, now Spanish. And we have an interpreter on the line?
Yes, Your Honor.
Excellent.
Oh, I have not yet. I'm sorry.
All right.
Working together for the public defender's office.
Okay.
Headphones.
She's about to put the headphones on. Looks okay. All right, your name, ma'am?
My name is Naisha Rios.
Maybe the victim needs, if there's a victim.
No. What is your name, ma'am?
Naisha Rios, Trinidad.
She's the.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's yes, she does. That's the next
She
one.
told us she needed the interpreter, and I guess the victim.
All right. Okay. Ms. Rios, you're here because you were arrested on a charge of domestic violence battery. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. Is Mr. Rios there now?
Yes, he is, Your Honor.
He is. Okay. All right. Does he need an interpreter also?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear that? We have to also interpret the for the alleged victim. We're going to be here. We got to be done by 3:00. That's this is insane. All right. If you're in the box, raise your right hand, please.
Al señor que es testigo, levante la mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you have to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Jura solemnemente o promete que el testimonio que dará será la verdad, toda la verdad y solamente la verdad. ¿Lo jura ante Dios?
Sí.
Yes.
Your name?
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Wilbert Ríos Martínez.
Wilber Ríos Martínez.
All right, sir. Are you are the alleged victim in this case? Is that right?
Usted es la supuesta víctima en este caso, ¿es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. What do you want to tell me?
¿Qué es lo que me quiere dejar saber?
Solamente lo que quiero saber, dejarle saber es que no la quiero, tú sabes. Yo no quiero someterle caso a ella. Yo solamente lo que quiero es que no vuelva más a mi casa y más nada.
Well, the only thing that I want to really let you know is that I really don't want to press charges against her. What I want is for her not to come back to my house.
Okay, so you don't want her to have contact with you or to come to your home, is that right?
Así que usted no quiere que ella regrese a su casa y que tampoco tenga contacto con usted, ¿es correcto?
Eso es correcto.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you have any other questions for him? All right. Okay, Ms. Rios, I will set bond in your case in the amount of $500.
She does qualify for a PTR, Your Honor.
Oh, she does? Is that an update? Okay. I will release you with pretrial release conditions, so you don't have to actually post a bond, but you do have to live up to the conditions of the pretrial release. Now, one of the conditions is going to be that you not return to 5319 North Pine Hill Circle where Mr. Rios is currently living.
I heard nothing. I don't hear nothing.
And you're not to have any contact with Wilbert Rios. Okay? No contact at all. No guns, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. Okay? So you have to live somewhere else. Now, you can go back there one time with a law enforcement officer. You just call the sheriff's office or the local police department and have them meet you and go out there. And then if you need to get any personal items, any clothing or any toiletries. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if there is a case number, can the interpreter get the case number, please?
Yes, it is 2020 MM 3789AO.
Thank you.
Your name, sir?
Sí. Jason Pagan Hernández.
Jason Pagan Hernandez.
Did you Fabio Daraca Jr.? All right, sir, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis, and no motor vehicle registration. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause on those cases. The bonds are set as follows. On the possession of cocaine with a weapon, I'll set a bond then of $1,500.
And he qualifies for PTR, Your Honor.
Oh, he does? Okay. Oh, I missed that. I was on there looking at the wrong thing. All right, I'll release you with the pretrial release conditions, meaning there won't be a bond required, but you do have to live up to the conditions or the requirements of that program, okay? You're also not to possess any guns or alcohol, no weapons, no drugs. And I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Thank you. What about Clebio Cesar de Roca Jr.? Oh, that's Portuguese. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll get to that eventually. It's quite a day. It's already 1 o'clock, folks. I don't know. I'm going to have to move quicker. Your name, sir?
Juan Reyes.
Juan Rios.
Mr. Reyes, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of possession of cocaine. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient probable cause. Set bond the amount of $1,000, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
Oh, yo podía preguntarle para traerle el dinero mañana, porque yo tengo a mi mamá enferma con diabetes y yo soy el único que la cuido a ella y ella no sabe ni que esté presa.
So I wanted to see if I can bring the money by tomorrow because I have my mom who's sick. She's diabetic, and I'm the only one that cares for her. She doesn't even know I'm locked up.
You can call a bondsman or have someone bring a cash bond, absolutely, at any point in time. All right. Thank you.
Tengo el dinero conmigo ni tengo contacto. Quería saber si yo podía salir y mañana hacer la fianza o algo que me dé un arreglo.
The thing is, I don't have the money with me, and I don't have any contact. So I wanted to know if I could get out and then come back tomorrow to bring the money for the bond.
No, unfortunately, they won't do that. The jail doesn't allow that. So that's nothing I can do. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, the case numbers, please.
That was 2020 CF 6445AO. Your name, ma'am? That's not going
Greta Licea.
Quereti Alicea.
Licea, right? Yeah. You're here today in case number 2020 MM3767AO. And in that case, you were arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. Now, Do you have a place to go
Sí,
other than the Conestoga Circle address?
sí. Es en la Orange Blossom Trail.
Yes, on Orange Blossom Trail.
Okay. All right, I will set bond in the amount of $500.
Judge,
Yep.
do have a victim here.
Oh, okay. Who's in the box?
I think she needs the interpreter, Judge.
This is unbelievable today. All right, we need the person in the box interpreted for.
Yes, Judge.
Oh, yeah. Whoever's in the box, please raise your right hand.
Okay, la persona que está aquí como testigo, levante la mano derecha.
Solemnly swear, testimony not to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Jura solemnemente o promete que el testimonio que dará será la verdad, toda la verdad y solamente la verdad. ¿Lo jura ante Dios?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, what is your name?
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Mara Betancourt.
Maga Betancourt.
Sí.
All right, you are the alleged victim in this case. Do you want to have contact with Gretel, or what do you want me to know?
Usted es la supuesta víctima en esta causa. ¿Quiere usted tener contacto con la señora Gretel o qué es lo que me quiere dejar saber?
Bueno, yo lo que quiero dejarle saber que yo soy su mamá y yo retiro el cargo que tienen con ella.
Well, I would like to let you know that I'm her mother and that I'm withdrawing any charges against her.
Okay, well, whether or not the charges get filed will be up to the state. That they will make that decision. But so then you would have no objection to her returning home to be with you and have contact with you?
Bueno, los que toman la decisión sobre formular o retirar cargos le corresponde a la fiscalía. Pero lo que le pregunto a usted, ¿se opone usted o no se opone usted, perdón, a que ella entonces pueda regresar a la casa y que pueda tener contacto con usted?
Sí, ella puede tener contacto conmigo y regresar a la casa.
She can have contact with me and return home.
She can. That's what she says. Okay.
Que sí puede, dijo usted.
Sí puede. Puede ir a la casa y regresar a la casa.
She can go back to the house.
So she doesn't want her to go back home.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Can, C-A-N.
Okay. All right. It's a little crackly in here. All right. Great. Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for her?
Okay.
All right. Ms. Betancourt, Lucia Betancourt, what I will do is I'll set bond the amount of $500. You can go back home since your mother says it's okay. All right. Now, you can't have any hostile contact with her. So you can't yell at her or raise your voice in any way or threaten her in any way if you go back home. If you do, that'll be a violation of your bond. Okay? You're not to have any guns, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol if you do bond out. Okay? And I guess let me tell that to the alleged victim too. All right, so ma'am, I'm going to grant her a bond. And she can have contact with you, but she can't have any hostile contact with you.
Muy bien, señora. Yo le estoy asignando una fianza a ella y a ella sí se le va a permitir tener contacto con usted, pero estará prohibido cualquier trato o contacto que sea hostil.
That means she can't raise her voice to you. She can't be in any way bad to you. Okay?
Lo que eso quiere decir es que ella no le puede levantar la voz y no puede hacer nada, comportarse de una manera mala con usted.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good luck. Thank you.
Your Honor, any action?
No action. No action on the credit card case. 500. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Now is it Portuguese time?
Yeah, you do the telecom.
Madam Clerk, are we doing the Portuguese next?
Yes. And I think that's it with Spanish. Is that right?
That's correct, Judge.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Judge. Thank you.
Have a good weekend or day or. Yeah, do we have the Portuguese interpreter on the line?
Yes,
Excellent.
there is a Portuguese interpreter on the line.
Thank you very much. Have you been sworn today?
No, sir.
All right, clerk will swear you.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
Now she can.
The interpreter can hear. It's a little far, but the interpreter can hear.
Do you solemnly swear that you will truly translate from Portuguese to English, from English to Portuguese to the testimony given today?
I do.
Thank you. All right. All right, the defendant is present. Your name, sir?
Clébio César da Rocha.
Your Honor, he has
That's
a
fine.
victim too.
You need to wait for her to speak to you in your language. I'm speaking your language.
Espera a intérprete interpretar.
Okay, Mr. DeRoca, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence.
Senhor da Roca, o senhor está aqui hoje porque o senhor foi preso, acusado de espancamento, violência doméstica.
I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause for that charge.
Eu li a declaração das acusações e encontro a causa provável suficiente para essa acusação.
Now, it's my understanding that the alleged victim is in the box. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we have, you can translate this too also for them. Could the person in the box please raise their right hand?
Meu entender é que a alegada vítima está na caixa, então a pessoa da caixa, por favor, levante a mão direita, por favor.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Você solenemente jura que o testemunho que está para prestar será a verdade, toda a verdade e nada mais do que a verdade, em nome de Deus?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you need an interpreter, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then that's okay. You don't have to my conversation with her, you don't have to translate, interpreter. Okay, and you are you Casey Roca, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you're the alleged victim in this case. What do you want me to know?
I do wish to have contact with him. I do want to allow him to come back home.
Okay.
Yeah, so no problem here.
Yeah. All right, you understand that I can't protect you if you just let him come back in, that you could be in danger. You understand that?
I do understand, but this is not something normal, so I do believe and trust that he would not hurt me.
Okay. All right. Well, what I'll do is I will let him come home, and I'll put a no hostile contact requirement, so he can't raise his voice or do anything hostile to you. Would that be okay?
That's completely fine as long as he
All
comes home.
Okay, great. All right, so now let's translate again for Mr. Roca, DeRoca. All right, sir, you do qualify for pretrial release.
Senhor da Roca, o senhor se qualifica para liberação pré-julgamento.
So there won't be a bond required, but you will have to live up to the conditions of the pretrial release program.
Não será exigida fiança, mas o senhor tem que agir de acordo com as condições do programa de liberação pré-julgamento.
The conditions also will include that you have no hostile contact with Casey Roca.
As condições também incluirão que o senhor não tenha nenhum contato hostil com Casey Roca.
You're not to possess any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol.
Não é para o senhor ter posse de nenhum revólver, armas, drogas ou álcool.
Okay, but you will be allowed to go back home and live with Ms. Roca for right now.
mas o senhor terá permissão para voltar para casa e morar com a senhora Roca por enquanto.
All right, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you, so I have a lawyer in your case.
E eu vou designar defensor público para defendê-lo. Assim, o senhor terá advogado para o seu caso.
Okay, all right, that will do with your case. Thank you for coming, ma'am.
Thank you.
And thank you, Madam Interpreter.
If that's all for the interpreter, thank you for using our services, Your Honor.
Thank you, that is it. Have a good day.
Goodbye.
Okay, your name, ma'am?
Mr. Morrissey is a refusal, Your Honor. He refused to attend.
All right. Warranty. Your name, ma'am?
Angel Glover.
All right, Ms. Glover, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. There we go.
We do have the victim here, Judge.
Okay. In the box, raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear to testify not to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. In the box, what's your name?
Jeffrey Pearsall.
All right. And you're the alleged victim in this case. Is that right?
Right, sir.
All right. Tell me what you would you be okay if she came home, or do you want to have no contact with her? What's your position?
No, I'll be okay if she come home.
All right. You understand that that's the only control that I could have is the order not to return and also not to have contact with you. If I don't, then I don't really have any control. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Glover, what I'm going to do is I'll set a bond in the amount of $500. You're allowed to go back home, okay? And you can't have no hostile contact. You can't have hostile contact with Mr. Pearsall, okay? That means you can't yell at him, can't raise your voice, can't raise your fist to him, can't throw anything at him, nothing like that, okay? You can be with him, just don't be hostile to him, okay? Not to have any drugs or weapons, any alcohol or guns. And I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
I have another question. Right now, sir, I'm under like some type of serious things. I just got hit by 18-wheeler, and right now we don't have any money. I'm trying to see if I can just get released on the R&R because we don't have no money, and I have to go to the surgery and doctor every week. That's why I'm in Alpha 1 because of my leg, and I'm trying not to let my leg get infected.
Yes,
I don't have no money at all to even bond out of here.
It's one of them days. Unfortunately, you don't qualify for the pretrial release program. I would have been glad to do that, but you just don't, based upon what we've got here. So I can't do that. You will have a public defender, and then they can attempt to do a bond hearing on that as well.
But I can still have contact with him while I'm in here.
Yes, absolutely. No hostile contact. Don't call him on the phone and yell at him, but you can call him on the phone and talk to him as much as you like, or he can come visit you.
Okay? I need to give her my phone number because I got a new phone. Can I do that?
Just go ahead. Read it off. Let her know.
You have a pen or something so I can write it down with?
I can't laugh because they can. Here we go. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Pearsall.
407-556-7046. 7046.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Your name? Oh.
You said, hold on.
Yes, please. Mr. Hostetler is behavior, Judge.
He could get out of jail. It's a camping charge. If you just show up, I give him time served. Okay. Is it?
Behavior means the CEOs didn't let him come to court. Doesn't mean he refused.
Well, no, but if he's acting out. Sorry. All right. Okay, next. Your name?
My name's Shaquanda Lockhart.
Miss Lockhart, you're here today because you were arrested on, I do have a question, State. It shows 2 trespass charges, but I only see in the affidavit, it talks about 2 people. Roosevelt Hemphill and her getting arrested for trespass, and we did Mr. Hemphill yesterday.
See, I don't even have a arrest affidavit today.
I think that. It says, in reference to 2 trespass violations upon arrival, make contact with Shaniqua Lockhart and Roosevelt Hemphill.
I'm finna say something.
Please don't talk about the.
Yeah, don't talk about your case.
Oh. Can I say something to you though, Judge?
Yeah, you sure?
Okay. As you can see, I have not been getting in no trouble lately. I work at the Dollar Tree. I've been doing good. The problem, it comes from our chief of Eatonville. He got mad because I wouldn't have sex with him no more. So he saw me and just grabbed me and made the other officers come grab me and put trespassing on me. As you can see, he charged me with 2 trespasses instead of just 1, and I never went nowhere to no 2 places to where I could be trespassing.
Yeah, no, I figured that part out. It's only 1 at most, so.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm just sick of it to the point whenever I get out, I am going to, sue them because I'm sick of the chief. I'm sick of him. Like, he keep on harassing me. Keep the chief that they talking about in my statement, Jenkins, keep on harassing me. I got 4 kids. I work. I got a house. I don't, jail, it's not my thing. I just turned 34 the 20th. It's not me.
Well, you do have a couple of things that you had a little trouble at the end of last year in December. I see a couple of cocaine charges that you're out on bond on.
Right, but it's...
Hopefully you get those resolved.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
because...
Hold on just a second. The state wants to tell me something.
Judge, if she wants to resolve it today, I'll let her plead to adjudication credit time serve on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. I'm glad you brought that up. If you want to enter a plea today and resolve this trespass case, just be time served and court cost.
Okay, bet. I got it.
Do that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you want to enter a plea of no contest then?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No, sir.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
Read over, you understood what the rights that you're giving up here today?
Yes,
That
sir.
is the right to have a trial, the right to make the state prove the case beyond the exclusion of all reasonable doubt, the right to question witnesses brought against you, the right to have your own witnesses, and the right to have an attorney.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand all that?
Yes,
You're
sir.
giving that up. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Finally understand that the entry of your plea could result in deportation if you're not a citizen.
Yes, sir.
And the maximum on this could be up to 60 days in jail and up to a $500 fine. You understand all those things?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, I do find sufficient factual basis. I'll judge you guilty. Be sentenced to the time you served. I'll impose court costs and the cost of prosecution. And that's a total of $273. Do you want to pay that in 180 days, which would be February 2nd? Or would you like to have a payment plan?
I got tax money. I can pay that as soon as I get out.
All right, I'll say pay within 180 days then. Okay.
Okay.
So you're all set on that, and I'll take no action on the delivery charges.
Thank you.
On the bonds.
Thank you.
You just want to dismiss it?
Yeah, I'll just dismiss it. That way, you don't have to file anything.
Okay.
So I'll dismiss count 2. Okay, your name, ma'am? Your name? Hello?
Judge, this is Miss Kayla LeCans. She does not talk when she comes to.
Okay. I see that before she was a Jane Doe. Was it through fingerprints or something that we identified, or how did we get a name?
Fingerprints, Judge.
Okay, all right. So she's been identified as Kayla LeCants. Ms. LeCants, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of resisting an officer without violence, disturbing the peace or breach of peace, and indecent exposure of sexual organs. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find that there is sufficient probable cause for those 3 charges. I'll set bond as follows. It'll be $500 on the resisting officer without violence, $100 on disturbing the peace, and $100 on indecent exposure. I will appoint a public defender to represent you, so you'll have a lawyer in the case, and they'll come and see you and talk to you about the case. If you bond out, then you need to make an appointment to go and see them. Thank you.
Enlak ek alahim.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I haven't had anyone tell me that today. It was like doing hand things too. Did you see the hand signals? This is a day. This is a day.
You gotta try it from our side.
I'm a judge. For 13 years, I'm on the bench. How do I end up with Memorial Day weekend? Why not have enough security? Since
I can only move so fast.
I said this side.
Thank you. I'm hurting.
your name, ma'am?
Nicole McCauley.
Miss McCauley, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of disorderly conduct.
I was kidnapped.
What's that?
I was kidnapped.
Well, in this case, it's the disorderly conduct. It doesn't say anything about that, but what they do say, I did read it. I do find there's sufficient probable cause, and I'll set bond in that case in the amount of $250.
Sir,
Now,
that's a
Yep.
city ordinance. There's no bond. It's not a misdemeanor or felony. That's not a bond case. That's a day-by-day case.
It is a misdemeanor. You're right. It's a city charge at this point, but that is a misdemeanor. It changes the court cost, but it doesn't change the fact whether it's a bondable offense, and so it is. So I'll set a bond in the amount. You know what? I'll set it at $100. I'll reduce it so it's only $100, and I'm not going to take any action on the. You're out on bond on a possession of drug paraphernalia.
No.
Leave that in place.
I'm not
Leave it
on
in
bond.
place. Yeah. Well, yeah, you are.
No, sir.
You have a return date of June 4th on that.
So wait, I got a question. I handicap. I don't process all this. How I'm out on bond and I now he can get bond?
Well, this is different. I'm not doing anything with that. You're okay. I'm
Can
not
we
gonna
just
bother
do
that.
how many days do I get? Cause I can't afford bond because they don't let me use the phone.
On the disorderly conduct?
Can I just get like 5 or 10 days?
Hold on. I'll ask the state. Hang on.
Adjudication credit time, sir.
If you want to resolve that disorderly conduct, it'd be adjudication of guilt, time served.
Yes, please.
And court costs. You want to do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So you'd enter plea of no contest. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol? Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
Yeah.
But you understand what's going on here. You've asked some pretty important questions. Okay. Now let me ask you. You understand that by pleading today, you give your right to have a trial. You give your right to have a lawyer appointed in the case and represent you. Give up your right to have the state have to prove their case beyond the exclusion of all reasonable doubt. You give up the right to bring witnesses to your defense and to question the witnesses that are brought against you. You understand all that?
Yes, sir. Can you also write on the paperwork they have no right to overturn your judgment and send me later? Cause I feel like I'm stable.
There's nothing I can do about that, but we're going to resolve the case today.
Great.
You do also you understand that this case is punishable by up to 60 days in jail, up to a $500 fine, and if you weren't a citizen, you could be deported. You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
All right. I do find sufficient factual basis. I will judge you guilty. You'll be sentenced to the time that you've served. There'll be court costs and a cost of prosecution of $50, which is a total of $273. Would you like to pay that in 180 days, which will be February 2nd of 2000?
I send my mom in the morning, or if I get home tonight.
Okay. Then 180 days you can pay it off. Okay.
No, she'll pay in the morning.
That's fine as long as it's within 180 days. So if it's tomorrow, that's fine. It's within. Okay.
Okay.
So you're all set. You're released as to this charge.
Thanks, Dad.
All righty. You're welcome.
Bye, Dad. All right.
You know. Your name, sir?
Charles Bernard Boston, sir.
And we have a victim in the box, Your Honor.
What happened to Barnes?
What happened to, we had Barnes, Ricky Barnes.
I'm sorry, Judge. He refused.
No, he's here.
Okay.
No, Dexter, he's here. Barnes is here.
I'm sorry. He's here.
Sorry.
This is Mr. Bostwick, though, right? Okay. All right. Mr. Bostwick, you're here today because you're arrested on several charges. First of all, you're arrested on battery by strangulation, domestic violence, battery, domestic violence, and tampering and harassing a witness in a domestic violence case. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause on those. Now, Maddie Ford is the alleged victim. Is she there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ma'am, could you raise your right hand?
Yes.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Ford, tell me, you're the alleged victim here. What did you want me to know?
Me and Charles been together for 7 years. We've been doing good. The night that he came in, I had already got into an incident with a female. I could not contact Charles at the moment to let him know what was going on. I just lost a friend. He just got killed a couple of days ago. I was very depressed. I do take depression medicine. At the time, I was going to the kitchen. He thought I was going to get some medicine. He thought I was for an overdose. He grabbed me. When the officers came, I did call, allegedly told him, just don't put his hand on me because I was upset. I told him if he grabbed me again, that I would call the cops. I called the cops because I did not want us to get into a physical confrontation. At the time they came, I explained to them that I was up on the influence, that I lost a friend of mine just got killed, that I did not want to press charges. I just wanted the officers to come before we got into an altercation.
Okay. Do you think, would it be okay if he came home?
Yes, sir. I just don't want no physical or no kind of hostile contact. That's it.
Well, I could do that. I could order that he didn't have no hostile contact, but he can return home with you, and that would be all right with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Boswick, did you hear all that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you do qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to release you on pretrial conditions, so there won't be a bond required. You just have to live up to the conditions of the pretrial release program, okay?
Yes, sir.
And the additional conditions will be that you not have any hostile contact with Ms. Ford. That means you can't raise your voice, you can't yell at her, you can't raise your hand to her, nothing at all, okay? No hostile contact whatsoever. If you do, it's a violation of your pretrial release, and you're back in jail without a bond, okay? So I obviously suggest that you not do that. I'm going to order that you not have any guns or weapons, no drugs or alcohol. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, but you can return home as long as you're not hostile to her.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
This is
Your name,
Mr.
sir?
Barnes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Barnes.
Good morning,
You're here
Judge.
today because you're arrested on 2 charges, one of them being battery domestic violence, and the other being battery on a person over 65. I guess the question was they charged them in the alternative. I mean, it sounds like it's one battery. All right. Yeah. All right. I do find sufficient probable cause. Do you live at the Frisco Circle address?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that also where Glorious Barnes lives?
Yes, my mom, yes, she does.
Is she here, or is there anyone here? Has anyone spoken to her?
No, she's not here, Your Honor.
We had no contact with her. We left her a voicemail.
The problem is I can't let you go back there until I hear from them that it's okay. Do you have another place to go in the short term?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. All right, you do qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to release you without any bond. You're going to go out on pretrial release conditions. You just have to live up to the conditions of that program. A couple of special conditions. At this point, because we haven't spoken to your mother, you can't have any contact with her. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to be forever. I'm going to appoint a public defender for you also. They can contact your mother, and if it turns out that she is okay with that, they'll let the state know, and then that can ease up. But for right now, no contact, no return to the Frisco Circle address, except for you can go back one time with the accompaniment of law enforcement so you can pick up any personal items that you may need. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All righty. And there's no guns, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons.
No.
We're all on pretrial release. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Good evening.
Your name, sir?
Joel Klassen.
Mr. Klassen, you're here today because you were arrested on 2 charges, battery by strangulation, domestic violence, and simple battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause for those. Is there anyone here for this case?
No, Your Honor.
All righty. Do you have another, and did you live with Miss Benitez at the 415 East Pine Street address?
No, she was just visiting outside, sir.
All right, but is she staying there?
No, she doesn't live there. That's my a friend Paul Johnson's address.
Judge, there's an active injunction again.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll set bond the amount on count 1 an amount of $750. Count 2, $250. Special condition: you're not to have any contact at all with Natalie Pinero Benitez at this point. Okay. I'll let you go back there since that's not her address. So you can actually go back, but no contact with her at all. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no guns, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your name, ma'am? Your name?
My name is Tamika Cockrell.
Ms. Cockrell, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, domestic violence. I have read that charging affidavit, and I do find there's sufficient probable cause.
You have a victim here, Your Honor?
Mr. Burnett is here, all right. Mr. Burnett, raise your right hand, please.
Right here, sir.
Solemnly swear the testimony to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you, God?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Burnett, you're the alleged victim in this case. What did you want to tell me about it?
I just want to let you know that Ms. Cockrell, none of that really didn't happen in that manner. I wish her to be home. I'm not in fear of my safety or anything, and I ask that, that she be released if possible on her own conditions. I'm on SSI. It's hard for me to actually pay a bond, but I'm gonna get her out if I have to. No matter.
Okay. And she still doesn't qualify for PTR, is that right?
She didn't qualify due to her high RA score, community ties, unstable housing, unstable employment.
Okay. But she has a place to live for sure now. And she's going to be staying with you, is that right?
Yes, she is.
The court ordered her to PTR?
Yeah, I'm going to order her to PTR.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very
and
much.
I'll allow her to return home. But Ms. Cockrell, you can't have you can have contact with them, but no hostile contact. All right, you can't yell at them, can't scream at them, don't wave scissors around, nothing. Okay, no hostility at all. All right, but you can go back home. All right,
sir.
No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. Okay,
Yes,
and also there's no bond required because it's pretrial release. But there are conditions to pretrial release, and they'll let you know what those conditions are, and you need to make sure you live up to those, because if you don't, they'll violate you, and you'll be back in jail, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All righty, take care. Your name, sir? Doesn't matter.
Jeffrey Fluker.
Your name?
Jeff.
Mr. Fluker, are you here today because you're arrested on a charge of aggravated battery and a pregnant person, domestic violence? I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Do we have anyone here for this case?
No, Your Honor. Sorry.
All right. Mr. Fluker, do you live at the Hastings Street address?
Yes, sir. The woman that I supposedly have battered, sir, is my wife, and I stay there with 6 of my children, sir. I also work from home, so I work from there also as a corporate manager, sir.
Well, because she's not here and I haven't been able to find out from her, I can't let you go back there right now. So condition of bond is you're going to have another place on the short term. Now, if it turns out that she's willing to convert that, she can get with the public defender that I'm going to appoint for you and get that changed. But for right now, you're going to have another place to go. Do you have a friend or relative or somewhere that you could go?
I have a mother I can go to and finish working, sir. My only concern, and I don't want you to think I'm giving you a sad story, but my only concern is continuing working. If I stand here, it makes life harder for me for when I do get out. I want to continue to work. I will go to my mother's house, sir. I will follow all policies of the law. I will stay away from those premises.
That's fine. I just want to make sure you have another place. I'll set bond the amount of $750, and then I'll have that you can't return. Right now, you can't return to the Hastings Street address.
Correct.
You can go back one time with law enforcement. So if you call the sheriff or the police department, they'll send an officer with you. You can go to the house, get some clothing, toiletries, and it sounds like you may have some work stuff. You can pick that stuff up and then take it to your mom's house. But You're not to go back there unless you go with law enforcement, and you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in the case while this is going on. Now, that, of course, can change if your attorney can speak with the state and if she speaks with the state and wants that to change, okay?
Correct.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, sir.
You too. Thank you. Your name, sir?
William Stokes.
All right, Mr. Stokes, you're here today because you're arrested on charge of aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. Is there anyone for this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This occurred at the Hawks Avenue address? Is that where you were living?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have another place to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, is that a friend or a relative?
Relative.
All right. Okay, as to the aggravated assault with a firearm, I'll set bond the amount of $750, and the battery domestic violence will be $250. And conditions of that bond be that you not return to 843 Hawks Avenue, and that you have no contact with Deandra Owens Brooks. Now, you can return to that address. Do you have any items there? Do you need to go there to get clothing or anything like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can go there one time. You either call sheriff or you call the police department. They'll send an officer with you, and then you can go in, make sure there's no problems. They'll be there with you for everybody's sake. You can pick up your items and then you can go, but that's the only one time you can go. Okay? No drugs, no alcohol, no guns, no weapons.
No.
Okay. Thank you. I was going to ask them. I think he may be. Are you Mr. Kalinsky?
No, Your Honor. I'm Isaac Acevedo.
Okay, what happened with Kalinsky?
Mental health, Your Honor.
Mental health. All righty. Mr. Acevedo, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. This was alleged to have occurred on Daniels Point Drive. Is that where you were living?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have another place to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Where is that? Is that family or friend?
Family, relatives.
Okay. All right. I'll set bond the amount of $500. You're not to have any contact with, is it Pedro Acevedo?
Yes, sir.
All right. No contact with him. Who's that? Is he a brother or relative?
Dad.
Okay. No contact with him at all at this point in time. No guns, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, and no return to that address. You can go back one time with law enforcement to get any personal items if you need them. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, if your dad wants to have contact or wants to change that, he needs to contact State Attorney's Office. All righty? All right. Good luck. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Yeah, 500. Your name, ma'am?
Lisa.
Your name?
Lisa Breen.
Miss Breen. Miss Breen, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient probable cause. Is there anyone here for Miss Breen's case?
No, Your Honor.
All righty, thank you. You do qualify for pretrial release. Do you have another place to go? Were you living at the Sydney Avenue or address?
Yes.
Do you have another place to go?
I can go to my parents.
Okay, all right. You do qualify for pretrial release, so I'll release you without a bond. You're going to go out on pretrial release conditions. That means you don't have to post a bond, but you do have to live by the conditions of that program. And one of those is going to be that you not have any contact with Michael Pearson for right now. No contact at all. You're not to return to that address on Sydney Avenue. However, I will allow you to go there one time with the accompaniment of law enforcement, so either call a sheriff or the police department so you can get clothing and toiletries if you need those. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Right here? Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Your name, sir?
Domenico.
All right, sir. You're here to, is it Domenico Brugulio?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Do you have any this Lake Cortez Drive address? Is that where you were living?
I live at Lakeshore Drive.
What's 321 South Lake Cortez Drive?
No, that's
that's just where it occurred, huh?
Yeah.
Where does the alleged victim live? Oh, that was at the Hampton Inn Hotel. I see. Yeah. All right.
My wife lives. We live together in Lake Park, Florida.
Oh, that's my old stomping grounds. So, did she go back to Lake Park?
Yeah. Yesterday,
do you think?
Yesterday, she drove my truck back to Lake Park.
All right. Well, because I don't have her here to tell me that it's okay, I've got to order that you have no contact with her on the short term. Also, you can't go back to your home with her. All right. And is there someone down there, a friend or family that you can stay with?
I have my parents.
Okay. All right. I will set bond in the amount of $500.
He does
and
qualify
I will-
for pretrial.
Oh, he does?
Yes,
All right, they
he does.
changed that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release you with pretrial release conditions. There will not be a bond. You don't have to post a bond, but you do have to live up to the conditions of the pretrial release program. All right. Some of those conditions will be, first of all, that you're not to have any contact with your wife in the case. And you're not to return to the family home at this point in time, so you need to live with your parents or somewhere else. You're not to have any guns, no weapons, no alcohol or drugs. Okay?
Okay,
All righty. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Brulio. I will allow you to go to your home one time with the accompaniment of law enforcement. So you to call the Palm Beach County Sheriff or Lake Park Police Department, and they'll send an officer with you, and you can go in your house and get clothing and toiletries, anything that you might need.
And
Okay.
do I have to supply like some sort of number, or just let them know that I gotta get my?
Pretrial release will talk with you before you're out.
Thank
They're
you.
going to give you information. Okay.
We have a victim here on this case, Your Honor.
All right. Your name, ma'am?
Jamie Howell.
What about Africa James?
Oh, she was the next.
Oh, hold on. That's next. Hold on. I got the paperwork mixed up. All right. All right. Who's in the box?
Miguel Crespo.
All right. Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear or testimony not to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do, sir.
All right, Mr. Crespo, you're the alleged victim in this case. What do you want to tell me?
No problem. Everything is good. Just a misunderstanding.
And you guys live together?
Yeah.
All right. But where this occurred was a hotel, though. Is that right?
No. Townhouse.
Oh, those are apartments. All right. Okay. So you have no problem with her coming home and living with you?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Ms. Howell, you do qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to release you on pretrial release conditions. All right. There will be no bond posted, but you do have to live up to the rules of that program. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Couple of things are going to be this: no guns, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. First of all. Second of all, no hostile contact with Mr. Crespo. That means you can have contact with him. You just can't be hostile to him. Can't raise your voice. Can't yell at him. Can't scream at him. Can't raise your fist. Nothing. Okay. If you do, and he calls law enforcement, you're back in jail on no bond. So don't do that. All right.
Yes, sir.
And then and you have to live up to the rest of the conditions of pretrial release. All right. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you as well. Okay. Thank you. Your name, ma'am?
Yes. Oh, Africa Money James.
All right, Ms. James, you're here today because state of Florida alleges, or because you were arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. And I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause for that. Do you have another place to go other than Harold Drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you living there with Mr. Lohman?
I've just been over there for a month.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll set bond in the amount of $500, so you can bond out. But conditions of those bond be that you not return to the 3030 Harold Drive address where Mr. Lohman lives. You're not to have any contact with Mr. Lohman. You're not allowed to have any guns or weapons, any drugs or alcohol. Do you have anything at that address that you need to go get, clothing or stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
All right, then I'll allow you to go one time with the accompaniment of law enforcement. You call either the sheriff or the police department, and they'll send an officer to go with you. And you'll be able to go in and get your clothing and whatever you need, and then go without any problems, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, I will appoint a public defender to represent you as well.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Your name?
Trayana Owens.
Ms. Owens, you're here today because you're arrested on charge of battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. And do you live at the Quill Avenue address?
Yes, I live there.
And what about Berthel Howard? Where
No,
does
he
Berthel
doesn't.
Howard?
He doesn't live there. He was just staying the night with me.
Okay. And obviously you have no reason to have any contact with them.
No.
Right?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll set bond the amount of $500. I'll allow you to return to your home, but you're not to have any contact with Berthel Howard. Okay. No contact whatsoever. No guns, no alcohol, no. Sure. Yep. But no drugs or weapons either. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a 4-month daughter and a 1-year-old, and he took them when I was arrested yesterday. But when I called home to my mom, she was saying that he wanted to go back to work tomorrow, so Do I call an officer with me to get the kids? He wants me to get the kids, but I don't want to go by myself.
Yeah,
so.
you can't have any contact unless there's an officer there, or if he'd be willing to drop them off with your mother.
Okay,
you can get them
just
from
not
her.
through
And
me. Okay.
then there's no connection at all. That's
Okay.
probably the best and safest way.
Okay.
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 All right.
Thank you.
You're all set. $500. Yeah, that's common. Your name, ma'am?
Beverly Tavares.
Ms. Tavares, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. Were you living at the North Goldenrod Road address?
Yes.
The victim is here.
And oh, okay, all right. In the box, could you raise your right hand, please? Solemnly swear the testimony I'll give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Your name?
Paul Batista.
All right, Mr. Batista, you're the alleged victim in this case. Tell me what you want me to know about it.
I want her to come home. I'm here to take her home, and I'm okay with having contact with her.
Okay, so you don't have any fear or anything like that?
No.
Okay. I will set bond in the amount of $500. I will.
She does qualify for PTR.
Oh, okay. There's an update. I'll release you pretrial release conditions. So there's no bond you have to post. You just have to live up to the rules of the pretrial release program. Okay. A couple of they'll have their own rules. A couple things I'm going to add: no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, none. Okay. Second of all, and probably most importantly, no hostile contact. All right, no hostile contact, meaning you can't raise your voice to him, can't throw anything at him, nothing like that. All right, you just need to be your nice self. All right, if you do, and he calls law enforcement, you're back in jail. Okay. All right, I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Thank you. It's not Robert Taylor. What about Robert Taylor?
Mental health, Your Honor.
Mental health. All right. Your name, ma'am?
Renika Wyatt.
Ms. Wyatt, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause.
You have a victim, Your Honor?
All righty. In the box, could you raise your right hand?
Yes,
Tell
Your
me
Honor.
swear the testimony you have to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do, Your Honor.
Your name?
William Sear.
All right, Mr. Sear, you are the alleged victim in the case. Did you want to have Ms. Wyatt have contact with you and come home, or no?
Absolutely, sir. There was just a misunderstanding on it.
All right, so no fear of her returning home. You know that it'll all be all right.
I know it'll be fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, now, Ms. Wyatt, you do qualify for pretrial release, so I'm going to release you with pretrial conditions. You don't have to post a bond, all right, but there are rules of that program you have to follow, okay? And I'm going to add a couple extra ones. First of all, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no guns, okay? And then second of all, more importantly, I don't want you to have any hostile contact with Mr. Sear, okay?
Okay.
All right. That means you can't raise your voice, can't do anything like that, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sear.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Moving on. Your name, sir?
Kenneth Bailey.
What about Al Harby?
Bonded out, Your Honor?
Bonded out. All right, Mr. Bailey.
Yes, sir.
Because you're arrested on a new charge of petty theft with
Yes,
two
sir.
prior convictions. I have reviewed the charging affidavit and do find there's sufficient probable cause. I set bond the amount of $1,000 on that. You're currently out on bond on another petty theft. State.
Yes, sir.
Please don't talk about the
Well, hold on. Public defender is jumping out of her chair. She doesn't want you to mention anything about the actual charges because I have appointed a public defender.
This is petty theft two priors?
Yeah.
Can't plead it.
And what about the bond on the one he's already out on? Yeah.
You already made your hearing.
Yep.
He was arrested on that out on bond case on March 24th, and no information was filed today.
Oh, that's not unheard
I
of.
know it's not legally binding.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I wanted to ask you to take it into consideration and make yours.
I think on that case, he was released ROR.
Looks like, yeah, he was 33 day.
Yeah, so if you're not inclined to revoke his bond, I would ask that he be on PR on that case.
So yeah, can you revoke and then put them on PTR?
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'll do. All right, you're actually released on a 33-day motion on the other petty theft. What I'm going to do is revoke that ROR, but I'm going to put you on PTR on that. So you will still be able to be released. Okay, but
what is PT?
you have to live the pretrial release conditions. That means they keep a little bit more of control on you. They watch out for you. Okay.
Yes,
They'll explain the program to you. What's that?
I was working at Red Robin. I know it's not an excuse, but I got laid off and I got sick in March with the corona, and then I got kicked out of my program. I was in Foundation for Life Ministries, and I was paying $150 a week, but I got kicked out of there, and I couldn't go to the Salvation Army because they wouldn't accept me because when I got sick out of rent, so I was sitting at late dock, but I was trying to maintain at the day's end my rent, which don't make it right because I got denied my unemployment 2 times, but I just reapplied for the disease one, with one I was applying for the wrong one and and I ain't know that. But anyway, I just made a mistake, but I was trying to make a living until everything got back normal with my unemployment. I feel that I got taken advantage of because I got sick and I got punished. I got kicked out of a Christian program that I was trying to go for.
All right. Well, what I'll do is I'll set bond 500, but I won't reduce it. So it'll, instead of, was it 1,000 before? Is that what I said? Yeah. All right. I'll reduce it to 500. Okay. And then PTR on the other. All right. Public defender appointed. All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck. Hopefully, you can get that turned around.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Your name, sir?
Arnez Barrington.
All right, Mr. Barrington, you're here today because you're arrested on a number of charges: trafficking in methamphetamine, trafficking in oxycodone, trafficking in there's another. Let's see, looks like 2 trafficking in oxycodone maybe, and possession of firearm by or ammunition by a convicted felon, and possession of firearm with the serial number removed. I did read the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. As to the trafficking in MDMA, I set bond amount of $5,000. Trafficking in oxycodone with the firearm, be $5,000. Trafficking in a controlled substance, $1,000. Possession of firearm by convicted felon, $500. And possession of firearm with serial removed, $500. And I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
All right, thank you.
Your name, sir? Your name?
Raymond Belshner.
All right, Mr. Belcher, you're here today because you were arrested on charge of dealing in stolen property, violation of Florida Pawnbroker Act, and receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification. The bonds are as follows: $2,500 in the dealing in stolen property, $1,000 on the violation of Pawnbroker Act, and I'll reduce the bond on the third one, the receiving the money, to $100. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you as well. Yep. Mm-hmm. Stayed and then one. Your name, sir?
Willie Carr.
All right, Mr. Carr, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of attempted burglary of a conveyance. I have viewed the charging affidavit. I do find that sufficient probable cause. I will set bond amount of $1,000. You are currently out on bond for a burglary of a conveyance, resisting officer without violence. I'm going to revoke that bond and set that at no bond. Appoint a public defender to represent you on the new case.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Your name, sir?
Cody Cliche, sir.
All right, Mr. Cliche, you're here today because you're arrested on several charges. First of all, burglary of an occupied dwelling, and battery on a law enforcement officer, possession of cocaine, resisting an officer without violence, and criminal mischief. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient factual basis on those charges. Stay the bonds at $5,000.
He qualifies for PTR, Your
dwelling.
Honor.
What's that?
He qualifies for PTR.
Okay.
Please.
All right. I remember this one. All right. I will release you without bond for pretrial release. Okay. That means no bond, but that means that you have to live up to the conditions of the pretrial release. All right. No guns, no alcohol, no weapons, no drugs. All right.
Yes, sir. So
And you have to report into pretrial release. If you don't do that, guess what's going to happen? They violate your pretrial release. You're back in jail with no bond.
Yes, sir. So I'm
Okay.
getting released.
after they interview you, make sure that they get all the information from you, all right? And I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
I have a lawyer.
What's that?
I have a
Who do you
lawyer.
have?
Edwin Mills.
All right, well then I won't a public defender, then Mr. Mills can enter a notice of appearance.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? All righty, good luck. Your name?
Jessica Ford.
What about Concepcion?
Refuse, Your Honor.
Refused. All right, Ms. Ford, you're here today because you're arrested on 2 warrants for failing to appear. One of them was a possession of controlled substance. The bond on that capious was $1,000. The other was a possession of drug paraphernalia, and there's a ROR on that, so there's no bond. So it's just the $1,000. Thank you.
Sir, will you appoint the PD?
I'll appoint a public defender also to represent you. I'll give you a public defender. You're set.
The next one, Lozano George, Your Honor, is mental health.
Your name, sir?
Ethan Gonzaga.
All right, Mr. Gonzaga, you're here today because you were arrested on charge of fleeing and attempting to elude. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause for that.
He qualifies for PTR, Your Honor.
All right, and you do qualify for pretrial release. I will release you with pretrial release conditions. That means there's no bond required, but that does require that you live up to the conditions of that program, okay? And one of those is going to be that you not operate a motor vehicle without a valid Florida license. And I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
Thank you.
Okay.
The next one, Henderson Travius, is mental health, Your Honor.
All right. Your name, sir?
Kiero Hinton.
All right, Mr. Hinton, you're here today because you're arrested on a couple of charges. First of all, resisting an officer without violence and destruction of evidence, and then also on false information. I have read the charging affidavits in all 3 of those cases. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. As to the destruction of evidence, I'll set bond in the amount of $750. Resisting an officer without violence is $100. And the false information will remain at $250. I will appoint a public defender to represent you on those charges. Your name, ma'am?
Brandy Laster.
Miss Laster, you're here today because you got arrested on a charge of possession of methamphetamine. I have reviewed the charging affidavit and do find sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
Thank you.
Your name, sir?
Brandon McGowan.
Mr. McGowan, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of driving while license suspended as an habitual. Yep. Oh. As an habitual traffic offender and resisting an officer without violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit and I do find sufficient probable cause. Yeah?
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Please don't talk about the facts, sir. Whatever you're about to say.
No, what I was about to say was, I was already, when they pulled us over, I was in the van sitting there, so when they came to us, I didn't know what was going on.
The problem was they didn't pull you over right away because the vehicle sped away and was doing 122 miles allegedly in a 60-mile-an-hour zone, and that they then came back later on. That's the way that it reads, but I do find sufficient probable cause on those. You're out on bond right now for a fleeing and attempting to elude driving while suspended from January.
Yeah.
Actually, there's 2 of those. I'm not sure how there was 2, but there's 2.
Yeah, but like I said, I was never in no vehicle that they were talking about. I was already working in that area. Then when they pulled the vehicle over, I'm in the van.
I think so.
You know what I'm saying? I was in the van when they came and pulled us over, talking about they looking for somebody, but I'm in the vehicle they talking about, I'm not even in. I'm in the van working. So they saying when they pulled us over, they talking about they were doing an investigation on a vehicle, but I'm already working in the area. So they talking about they were looking for.
I located the vehicle parked in the rear of the Red Roof Inn. I witnessed a black male exit the driver's side of the vehicle and walk up to a hotel room. And once they did that, then the person got back in the car and drove away. And then they followed. So there's probable cause for that. State, what's your?
I was just gonna ask for Your Honor to revoke the bond on the two felonies.
Yeah, I mean, it's very consistent. On the fleeing attempts to elude, I'm going to revoke those bonds and set them at no bond. So there's a bond on the new, but not on the old. Yeah, revoke those two, yeah. John Minter? You are Mr. Minter?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Minter, you're here today because the state alleges, that you were arrested on charge of possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. The bond on the possession of cocaine is $1,000, and the possession of drug paraphernalia is $100. And I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
All right.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name, sir?
Tyree Oliver.
Mr. Oliver, you're here today because you're arrested on a grand theft, third degree, burglary of a conveyance, criminal mischief, and possession of possession of burglary tools charges. I have reviewed those charging affidavits, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond is set as follows. In the grand theft, it's $1,000. Burglary of a conveyance, I will reduce that to $1,500. Criminal mischief, $100, and the possession of burglary tools reduced to $100.
Any action on the open case, Your Honor?
I have some thinking. State. Like it's a trespass.
He was ROR on that case. I'm okay if you want to do a PTR on that.
All right, I'll revoke the RR and require him. He can be released on the PTR conditions. Thank you, sir. So the other way, there's not a new bond on the trespass you're out on bond on, but you will have to go PTR conditions on that one. All right, if you bond out. Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Parker, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of possession of a prescription drug, and in this case, it was actually it was a cocaine on his. They did it all in one sheet. Possession of a controlled substance. I do find sufficient probable cause. The bond is $1,000.
He qualifies for PTR.
Oh, he does? All right. I can release you with under pretrial release conditions, so there won't be a bond required. But you do have to live up to the conditions of the pretrial release program.
Okay.
I'm also going to require that you not have any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol.
Okay.
Okay? All righty. Your name, sir?
Cordell Patterson, sir.
All right, Mr. Patterson, you're here today because you're arrested on charge of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Bond set is in the amount of $4,000, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you. No action on the bonds. So the other bonds you're out on, I'm not going to take any action on. They'll remain. So it's just the $4,000 bond.
$4,000 bond? Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, public defender will be appointed.
Jermaine Perkins.
Jermaine.
He bonded, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Perkins bonded. Miguel Salazar?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Salazar, you're here today because you're arrested on charge of possession of a controlled substance. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient factual basis to accept that for that charge. Bond set in the amount of $1,000. All right, you were out on bond. I'll take no action on the bond, on the petty theft. So that'll stay in place.
Thank you,
so
sir.
Just $1,000. All right.
appreciate that.
Public defender will be appointed on your new charge.
Say that one more time.
The public defender will be appointed on the new charge, on the possession charge.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Salazar. Perkins bonded. Your name, sir?
Donnell Sims, sir.
All right, Mr. Sims, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of possession of concealed firearm by convicted felon and possession of ammunition by convicted felon. Bond is set in the amount of $5,000 on count one, $100 on count two. You're also out on bond on possession of firearm by convicted felon, possession of firearm or ammunition by convicted felon. I'm going to revoke those bonds and set that at no bond. A public defender will be appointed on your new case. Your name, sir?
Anthony Thomas.
What about Iona Smith?
Mental health, Your Honor.
All righty. Mental health reset. All right. Anthony Thomas. All right, Mr. Thomas, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of fleeing and attempting to elude. I have reviewed the charging affidavit and do find sufficient probable cause. You do qualify for pretrial release. Okay, so there won't be a bond required for you to bond out. We'll release you under pretrial release conditions. All right, and those conditions, they'll tell you what they are. And the additional condition will be that you not operate a motor vehicle without a valid Florida driver's license. Also, no drugs, no alcohol, no guns or weapons. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And a public defender will be appointed. Your name, sir?
Jeffrey Torrance. It's spelled wrong.
All right, Mr. Torrance.
Hey.
You're here today because you're arrested on a charge of aggravated stalking with a credible threat and trespass on property after warning. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause on that. The bonds are on the aggravated stalking with credible threat would be $5,000, and trespass on property after warning is $100. You're out on bond on possession of methamphetamine, tampering with physical evidence, and trespass. State.
I would ask that you.
All right. Yep.
He was arrested on that case on February 17th. Out today, so I just ask you to take that into consideration.
All right. I'll take no action.
Your Honor, he also has an additional out on bond case. It's a VOP.
Which one is that?
It's a VOP battery ×2, 2019 MM00569380.
All right. I'll revoke that bond. No bond
I'm not out on bond
on the
anymore.
VOP.
The probation was over. It was over.
You had a stairs hearing before him.
Just a second. She's checking it.
In your division, and it looks like it fell off the docket. There's a VOP staff.
It ended.
There was an arrest for VOP on 313. VOP warrants are 316.
313 for this year?
Yes.
What does it say? Do you have the affidavit?
It was set for
My guess is going to be the new charge.
end of March, so it's probably because he picked up.
I think it'll be set in July now. Then all of those have been rolled to July.
Oh, it's the new charges from February, the one.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Your probation was violated because you got new charges.
When?
I'll see you in July. Whoever you and I'll appoint a public defender.
Will I be able to bond out so I can go to my job interview that I had coming up? I was with a civil engineering firm right in Winter Park. I was really hoping I could start getting this back in order with my family. I know I can't see her, but I can start paying for them, for my daughter again. That's the main thing I want, is so I can start to pay for my family again and not be just a lump of coal on the side, not worth anything.
Go ahead.
I just want to let you know that Michael Peterson represents the possession of methamphetamine from February and
Okay. Contact Mr. Gibson and let him know that your probation's been violated, and he can file a bond motion with me. But at this point,
And Judge, for this case, that's no contact.
I don't know Mr. Gibson's number.
What? Let me ask you. What was the bond? Was there a bond on the? How did he get a bond with new charges on the battery? What was it?
The bond on the VOP was
Yeah.
$1,500.
That must have been an on-site. There's no way. I would never have done that. Watch
it
it.
says none on the VOP packet.
Did it get reduced then?
They said a bond at IA's.
Yeah, because so I when there was a violation, I'm sure I no bonded him because that's what I would have done. Yeah, okay. Just tell Mr. Gibson that he'll have to file a bond motion on that.
How do I get his number?
So, Your Honor, it's going to be revoked on the VOP and no
Yeah,
action
on
on
the
the other?
VOP. Right, that's correct.
But he's a private attorney.
Judge, can you order no contact, no return on this case?
Yeah, no contact, no return. You're not to contact or return the alleged victim, a victim in the case. Your name, ma'am?
Angela Williams.
Miss Williams, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Or with a weapon. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. There is bond. I'll set bond in the amount of $5,000. If you do bond out, you're not to have any contact with Jacqueline Johnson, who's the alleged victim. All right. Thank you. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Your name, sir?
Israel Williams, sir.
All right. Mr. Williams, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of reckless driving. Let me see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I do find sufficient factual basis on that charge. I'll set a bond in the amount of $500.
Excuse me, sir. Can I, do they have a plea offer for me?
On the reckless driving?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I mean,
It's a adjudication aggressive driver improvement class.
Yep. All right, so if you want to enter a plea, it'd be time served, court costs, and a requirement that you show completion of the aggressive driving class. It's an 8-hour class, and I'd give you 180 days to do that. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you want to enter a plea of no contest?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No, sir. No, sir.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
All right. You understand that by entering a plea of no contest today, you are giving up your right to have a trial, to have witnesses called against you by the state, to require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, to have the ability to question those witnesses that are brought against you, and to have witnesses brought to your defense, and also to have an attorney represent you at the trial. You understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
And finally, you understand that the maximum penalty is up to 90 days in jail and up to a $500 fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes? All right. I will accept your plea of no contest. I'll judge you guilty of the charge of reckless driving. You'll be sentenced to the time you've served. The court costs, actually, there's a minimum $25 fine. Court costs, $50 cost of prosecution. Did you want to pay all that? It's going to be $306. So it's going to be about $331.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. On reckless. Do you want to pay that in 90 days, or would you like a payment plan? $331.
No, I can pay it in 90 days.
Pay within. I'll give you 180 just in case, because we're getting back. And then also show completion of the 8-hour aggressive driving class. This is a class you have to attend in person. Show completion of that within 180 days.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank
all
you.
right. You'll be all set on that. I'll take no action on the bonds. You're all set. And your bonds, I'll leave those in place.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can get released.
Yep, you can.
Thank you.
All right. Your name, sir? Your name?
Excuse me?
Your name? Your name.
Willie Bowen Jr.
All right, Mr. Bowen, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of trespass after warning. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient probable cause. Set bond in the amount of $250. And I'll appoint a public defender for you. Okay? Is that one of the... No, probably wasn't. Your name?
Ellie Dormo.
Mr. Dormal, you're here today for several things. First of all, for trespass on property after warning and resisting an officer without violence. I have read that charging affidavit. You find there's sufficient probable cause. You're also here for a possession of drug paraphernalia. I've reviewed that as well. As for the the trespass, bond be set at the amount of $250. Resisting an officer without violence, $100. In the state of the possession of drug paraphernalia, $100. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Your name, sir?
Yes, sir.
Your name?
Warren Larry Gant Jr.
All right, Mr. Gant, you're here today for a couple things. First of all, you're arrested and charged with disorderly conduct.
Yes, sir.
I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient probable cause on that case. And then also, you were charged with possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yes, sir.
I do find sufficient probable cause on that. I'll set bonds in the amount of $250 on the disorderly conduct and $250 on the possession of drug paraphernalia. Should I be asking them if they want to take a plea or on these or no?
It's adjudication credit time served.
If you want to plea on these charges, it'd be an adjudication, time served, and court costs. Now it's two separate cases.
Yes, sir.
So it would result in two court costs. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Do you want to enter a plea of no contest then?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
I've taken my seizure medication this morning. That's about it.
Okay. But it doesn't affect the way you think. Is that right?
Not for the most part, no.
All right. You understand, have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
Well, currently I'm taking Paxil for PTSD, but
Okay. But you understand what's happening here today?
I do, sir.
All right. You understand that if you do enter pleas of no contest today, you're giving up your right to a trial. You're giving up the right to have the state, require the state to prove their cases beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have witnesses called in your defense, to question the witnesses that are brought against you by the state, and have a lawyer represent you at that trial. Do you understand all that?
I do, sir.
You also understand that the entry of your plea could result in deportation if you're not a citizen, and the maximum penalty on these, on the drug paraphernalia is a year, and the maximum penalty on the disorderly conduct is 60 days. You understand all that?
I do, sir.
All right. I do find sufficient factual basis. As to the disorderly conduct in 2020 MO 585A, looks like the AO, I will judge you guilty of disorderly conduct, sentence time served with court costs and a $50 cost of prosecution. Or I guess, yeah. No, it's just 223 on that one. And then in the 2020 MM 3792 AO, I will judge you guilty of possession of drug paraphernalia, court costs, cost of prosecution. And did you want to pay? It's going to be about $500 total. You want to pay that in 180 days, or just like a payment plan?
Payment plan. I'm on a fixed income, sir.
All right. Can you do $20 a month?
I can.
First payment will be due by the 17th of August, and every 30 days thereafter until it's paid in full.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Okay. Your name, sir?
Travis Hawkins, sir.
Mr. Hawkins, you're here today because you were arrested on two charges, disorderly conduct and possession of drug paraphernalia. I have reviewed those charging affidavits, and I do find sufficient probable cause. Do you want to resolve your cases today?
Yes, sir.
What's that?
Yes, sir.
For adjudication credit time served.
All right. It'll be the same thing. I know you were standing back there. If you want to enter pleas of no contest, it'll be adjudications of guilt on both those charges. It'll be credit for time served and court costs. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're entering pleas of no contest to both of those. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
You understand that by entering your plea today, you give up your right to have a trial. You give up your right to require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have witnesses called to your defense. You give up the right to question the witnesses that are brought against you, and also to have a legal counsel representing you. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Finally, you understand that the entry of your plea could result in deportation, and that the maximum penalty on the possession of drug paraphernalia is up to 1 year in the county jail, and the maximum on disorderly conduct is up to 60 days in jail.
Yes, sir.
All right, I do find sufficient factual basis to accept your plea. I will judge you guilty of both of those offenses, be sentenced to the time that you serve, and those sentences will run concurrent. I'll pose court costs and costs of prosecution if they're necessary. And did you want to pay that all off in 180 days by February of next year?
Probably by February next year will be
Okay. All right, so pay within 180 days, and you're all set. You'll be released as to those cases. Your name, sir?
Joseph Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, you're here today because you're arrested on two charges, disorderly conduct and possession of drug paraphernalia. I have reviewed the charging affidavits, and I do find sufficient probable cause for those. I can set bonds, or did you want to ask the state about resolving your cases?
I'd have to resolve it, sir.
Okay, state. All right, if you wish to enter pleas of both of these charges, they would recommend that I judge you guilty and that you be sentenced to the time that you've served in the Orange County Jail with court costs. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you're going to enter pleas of no contest to both of those. Is that right?
No contest. Yes, sir.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No, sir.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
You understand that by entering your plea today, you give up your right to have a trial, the right to require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to have any witnesses you may wish to be brought to your defense, and the right to question the witnesses that are brought against you, and finally to have a defense counsel represent you at trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that this case is the possession of of drug paraphernalia is punishable by up to a year in the county jail, and the disorderly conduct is punishable by up to 60 days in the county jail, and that the entry of your plea could result in deportation if you're not a citizen.
Yes, sir.
All right. I do find sufficient factual basis in both cases. In the possession of drug paraphernalia, will judge you guilty. Be sentenced to the time you serve plus court costs and cost of prosecution. And in the disorderly conduct, I will judge you guilty. You'll be sentenced to the time that you serve. The sentence will run concurrent, and I'll impose court costs. Did you want to? Can you pay that all in 180 days by February the 3rd? Or do you want a payment plan?
Payment
Or
plan.
I could give you a year. Want to pay it in a year?
A year, yes, sir.
All right. Pay within a year, and the paperwork will give you the dates on that. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Thank you. Your name, sir?
Marcus Lawrence.
Mr. Lawrence, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of possession of cannabis. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause for that charge. I'll set bond the amount of $250. I'll appoint a public defender, and I'll take no action on the bond.
Sir?
Yep.
They were saying that it was a hold on my bond due to I had a case maybe in March.
Don't worry about that. I just said that I'm not going to take any action, so that won't be you'll be able to bond out now.
Oh, so it won't be a hold on my bond?
Nope. Not if you're talking about the other case, the driving license suspended. It won't be hold on that anymore.
Yes,
Okay.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I should be able to bond out, like.
I would expect, unless there's something that I don't know about. Yeah, you should be good. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Your name, sir?
Angel Morales.
Mr. Morales, you're here today because you were arrested and charged with battery. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $500. If you do bond out, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in the case. Let's see.
In your honor, for his out on bonds, it's actually only one case number. It should be 2020 CF 002478. It was an information file that consolidated the two cases.
All right, I'll take no action on that. I'll leave those out there. All right, so just the bond on the battery. And I'll appoint a public defender for you.
So I could bond out today?
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. All righty. Yeah. Your name, sir?
Wenton.
All right, Mr. Nguyen, you're here today because you're arrested on two charges, possession of drug paraphernalia and disorderly conduct. I have reviewed those charging affidavits. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Did you want me to set a bond in those cases and appoint a lawyer, or did you want to resolve them today?
I plead guilty.
Okay. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No, sir.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
Any mental illness problems in the past?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, you understand that by pleading today, you give up your right to have a trial. You give up the right to require the state to prove their case beyond the exclusion of all reasonable doubt. You give up the right to question the witnesses the state may bring against you, and you give up the right to bring witnesses of your own. And you also give up the right to have an attorney represent you at the trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Finally, do you understand that the maximum penalties on the possession of drug paraphernalia is up to a year, and the maximum penalty on disorderly conduct is up to 60 days, and that the entry of your pleas could result in deportation if you're not a citizen? Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. I do find sufficient factual basis. I will accept your pleas as to the possession of drug paraphernalia. I will judge you guilty of that. Be sentenced to time served, plus court costs and any cost of prosecution there may be. As to disorderly conduct, I will judge you guilty, sentence you to time served and court costs, and I'll give you a year to pay that all off, okay? It's gonna be about $500, all right? You got a year to pay it, okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All righty. Dennis O'Hare?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. O'Hare, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of assault on a law enforcement officer and resisting an officer without violence, and a battery charge. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause on those charges. On the assault on a law enforcement officer, bond is set in the amount of $500. Resisting officer without violence, $500. And the battery charge, $500. I appoint public defenders in all those cases. And on the battery, if you do bond out, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in the case.
Okay.
All righty, thank you. Thank you.
How you doing, Judge?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Just banged up a little
And you
bit.
and your name is?
Janine Marie Scaglione.
All right, ma'am. You're here today because you're arrested on a charge of trespass on property after warning. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. I'll set bond in that in the amount of $500, and I'll appoint a public defender.
Sir, there's no way I could just be released. I mean, they're trespassing more, and I didn't do anything. I was already off the property when they charged me. And,
Well, they say that you were pulling up your dress and exposing yourself.
no, they
at the
threw me up.
place.
They threw me on the ground. I had a dress, but I had shorts on underneath. I wasn't pulling my dress up and down. I wasn't nowhere near doing anything to anybody. I was walking home.
Yeah. I'm gonna set that bond. And you're out on bond, but I won't do anything with your other bonds. So I won't revoke this.
No.
You're out on bond on a possession of drug paraphernalia, and you're out on bond on another trespass.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be nice to you and not revoke those.
Okay, thank you.
All right, yeah. Take that as a gift. Your name, sir?
Good. Hi. Oh, Julio Cruz.
Julio Cruz. Mr. Cruz, you're here today because you're arrested on a warrant from Seminole County. Currently, there is no bond on that warrant. We will contact Seminole County and see if they are willing to either set a bond or have some other conditional release for you, and we'll bring you back once Seminole County responds to our request.
Your Honor,
Okay?
there's a bond of $300.
Is there?
They did give me a bond.
Oh man, my eyes are bad. Yeah, it's $300.
Yeah.
So it's not no bond; it's $300. That's much better. Okay.
Okay.
So bond out.
What do I do?
Man, my eyes are crossing. Your name, ma'am?
Hello, good morning. It's Tarnesia Flukers.
Miss Flukers, you're here today because you're arrested on a warrant out of Seminole County, and there is a bond in the amount of $1,500. Okay.
I did the bond for Seminole County. It's supposed to have been about Lake County.
Well, this one says Seminole on the paper.
She posted the bond on the Seminole County. She's only here to address the Lake County with the no bond.
Well, I don't have that. I don't have that paper. I just have the attachment is failure to appear, $1,500, Seminole County, and then I have the actual printout, the teletype from Seminole County. So I don't have that.
You want the case number?
Yep.
18MM004780, and it's for Lake County.
And that's Lake County, and that's no bond. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the information that you need to know. 18MM. What was the rest?
004780.
4780. So there's no bond on that. We will call Lake County and attempt to see if they'll set a bond or give you some other conditional release pending their ability to transport you. Hopefully, we're going to start transporting people within the next 3 weeks to a month. But who knows? At this point, we have to wait for a word from the Supreme Court. All right? So thank you. Your name, ma'am?
Destiny Villanueva.
Ms. Villanueva, you're here because you're arrested on an out-of-county warrant from Pasco County, and it looks like it's $25,013. That's an interesting number. $25,013 is the
Yes,
bond.
I was never given a letter stating that my court date was already passed. I've been waiting for it. I actually contacted the courthouse for Pasco County. I spoke to a representative. She said that nothing popped up for my file. She could not find anything under my name. I actually looked online as well. I put my number. It kept saying cannot be searched. I called them multiple times. I never got in contact with them, and I have never received a letter stating that I had a court date.
Well, all I can tell you is we'll call Pasco County and have them take a look at it. And if they determine that they want to make it less or have it go away or whatever, they'll let us know. We'll bring you back once Pasco County has answered us. Okay?
Okay, but my bail still remains the same?
Yeah, $25,013.
Okay, no problem.
All righty?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Good luck. Your name, ma'am?
Lena Calderon.
Is Lissandro Acevedo still mental health?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Calderon, you're here today because we're bringing you back to see if they came up with anything to show what the contributing to the delinquency of minor was.
Judge, I received a supplemental, but it is not sworn to, so.
All right, so they don't have it today, so I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance. All right, so there won't be a bond required. Doesn't mean the case is dropped, though, so don't just assume it's gone away, because I will appoint a public defender to represent you. So contact the public defender's office when you get out. But they may still go forward on this. That's just because they're letting you out of jail doesn't mean that you can't be charged. Okay, so you just make sure you follow up on that, or you'll end up back in jail for not showing up. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck.
Jerry Daniels, Your Honor, refuse.
Refused. Can we?
Go ahead and waive.
All right, we'll waive that on Mr. Daniel, SEP on the burglary restructure, $5,000, and grand theft third degree, $2,500. Stay those bond.
To John Doe, Your Honor, mental health.
All right, what do we got on him? This is a trespass after warning. I'll go ahead and set bond amount of $250. Yeah, we're waiving him too.
Derek January is mental health again, Your Honor.
All right. Same thing with Mr. January. I will waive him. Mr. January, is that okay, PD?
Yes.
Set bond amount of $100. All right. Okay. Julian Eaton? You are Mr. Eaton?
Yes.
All right, you're here today because you're arrested on a warrant for violation of probation. There is no bond on that, and that is from a charge here in Orange County. All right?
Any action on his open case?
No action. He's not going anywhere. And let's see, last but not least, Dakota Davis.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Davis, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of disorderly conduct.
Yes, sir.
I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. If you want to, I can ask the state if they want to make an offer to you today to see if you want to resolve your case, or do you just want me to set a bond? You want to resolve it? Okay.
Yes.
This is an adjudication time, sir. All right. The offer is this. If you want to enter a plea of no contest or guilty, they will recommend that I judge you guilty and sentence you to the time you've served and then impose court costs. And that would probably be a total of $223. Do you want me to do that? Want to enter a plea?
What does that mean?
That means if you enter a plea, you'll be sentenced to the time you've served, and I'll impose court costs, and that'd be $223, and you could pay that in a year.
Yes, sir. I'll plead no contest.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No, sir.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
All right. You understand that by entering a plea today, you give up your right to have a trial, the right to require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to question any witnesses the state may bring against you, and the right to have your own witnesses to testify if you wish, the right for you to testify or to not to testify, and finally to have an attorney appointed to represent you. You understand you're giving up all those rights?
Yes, sir.
All right, finally, you understand that this charge is punishable by up to 60 days in jail, up to a $500 fine, and that the entry of your plea would result in deportation if you're not a citizen.
Yes, sir.
I do find sufficient factual basis to accept your plea. I will judge you guilty of disorderly conduct. You'll be sentenced to the time that you've served in the Orange County Jail. I will impose court costs in an amount of $223, and I will have you pay that within a year, and your paperwork will give you that date.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck. Like, I'm gonna find, you're gonna look at the schedule and figure out the next time I'm supposed to be here, and you'll be on vacation for sure.
Well, I'll be here tomorrow.
Well, I was supposed to, but Eric Dubois said, "Well, you're on you're on emergency this week," so he said he would do it because I have warrant signing from